starting, or was on, or at least when I was like really just having a lot of sessions a day, like I was on Ableton as much as I can. If I had a bad session, if I didn't have a good session, like a music session, it would affect my emotional state throughout the day. Like I would be more short with my girlfriend. Things annoy me more, like it affects so much. And on the other side, like you said, like when you have a good session, you're like, poof, today's a great day. you can just you
Yeah,
can just go
that's very
ahead.
true, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
very
funny like
true.
that.
And like that's the thing. Ever since like I've started having like my routine back together, like just waking up and doing music, like you just feel emotionally like much better. And it's like you feel more inspired too, and it's like you already get in the flow, and you don't need like to fight with the day in a way, like the day just
Yeah,
happens to flow like easily. So yeah, it's like
fully.
very
I
interesting.
can't remember where I heard it that like can't remember who makes that point. Some motivational speaker, and he talks about how progress is happiness. And like from
Hmm.
all the things you can draw a lot of conclusions, but his thing is like in the end of the day, progress is what makes happiness um happen, which is very capitalistic way of thinking about it, obviously. But it like I can feel it like when that's a good session, even though a bad session is good because you know that all these ideas wouldn't go into your track, and you can make this mental gymnastics of it's good because now I know I wouldn't do these things, so I can the next session will be good because I wouldn't make those mistakes. You can learn from it, though it's correct. It's harder to feel it in the day, and obviously you can like make yourself that person that sees mistakes as good, and that's a good thing. But god damn, when everything goes good, you feel so much better.
Yeah, that's true. But like the thing is, you won't always have a good session. That's the thing. And
Yeah,
like what I feel is, I mean, you can have a bad session, but you can also make the bad session become a good session. Like it's just about appreciating yourself for just sitting in front of the screen, sometimes because you're just like sometimes staring at a blank screen and you don't know what you're going to do. And you kind of like feel bad after because like you didn't progress. Like as you said, like uh,
right.
what you listen to, like progression leads to happiness. And I agree. I agree 100%, I would say, because I mean, not 100%, but it does make sense though, because like when you have a good session and you've been working on the track and you've really advanced on the track, you really feel happy after because like you've done this much during the day. But then when you don't move along in the track, you just feel a
Really.
bit bad because you feel like you haven't done any progression, which is like sorry, which is like very
Yeah,
funny because
you
I was
you
just
wasted
watching.
precious time.
Yeah, and like the thing is, I was just watching a TED talk 2 days before, and there was this guy that just takes up challenges like in different ways, like and uh, and the thing that he tried to explain is if you're trying to finish a track, for example, you don't focus on finishing the track, you just focus on finishing 4 bars, and then you move on to the next 4 bars, and then to the next 4 bars. So you just like dismantle the whole process in like smaller steps. It's like learning a new language or like reading a book. So if you're reading a book of 1,000 pages, if you focus on the 1,000 pages, you'll be like, oh, that's too much for me. Like I'll never be able to read the whole 1,000 pages. And but if you like focus on like reading maybe 10 pages a day, obviously at a certain point you'll end up finishing the book. And I feel like that's a very
100%.
important part when thinking of like progression, and just like making like very small, taking like small steps that will lead to the end product. And that's, I feel like it's a very good way to perceive it and to get the job finished in a way.
Really, do you have any do you have any techniques when you're in front of a blank screen and you don't know what to do? Do you have things that you, if you get stuck, do you start a new loop, or do you go to another track, or you never do that because you're just gonna mess up the next track? Do you have any things that you come up with along
Uh,
as you've been
I
making
mean,
music for a while?
most of the time, like if I'm staring at a blank screen, I'll just try different things. Like first thing that I'll try to do is just open a synthesizer and just like play around with it. Or I just like maybe sometimes do something else because like most of the time, when I'm trying to focus too much on like getting an idea inside Ableton, when I'm inside Ableton, I'll never find an idea. And the thing is, like, sometimes I try to get out of the box. So now the box maybe is Ableton is the box. So I'll try getting out of the box and
Mm,
maybe try listening to other music or maybe read something or watch a video and maybe go outside and play with my dog or something and just like get back again in the studio.
yeah, right.
So I feel like sometimes just shifting perspective and shifting your environment can just like make the click. And most of the time when I'll do this shift, I'll just like get back in the studio and I'll always get back to Ableton and actually have an idea. And it's always this one simple idea that will just like click, I would say, the whole spectrum of ideas in a way. It's just like, yeah, it just happens in a way.
Yeah, I love that when it all clicks, when you just make
Oh,
one
bro,
good
that's the
decision
best feeling in
and
the
it
world,
just
man.
glued everything together. Dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
man.
that's
Like,
the
that's the
reason
best.
I'm doing this. That and dance flows. That's it's just it's that moment at dance flows. When when I get a melody and an answer to that melody to work together with the bass and the kick snare situation, when the drive, when I can feel a drive in the first master loop, is, man, I can, if it's a night session, I tell you that at least 2 hours of the night session is just listening to the loop. And I was like, nice. And I just move maybe one hi-hat every 5 minutes or something. And I just if it's good, man, I just want to soak myself in that moment. It happens to me so many times. When it's good,
Yeah.
seriously, I have tracks out that I've never arrived to that moment. It's just good tracks and the concept is there, but I have one track in Tribone called Penumbra, and it's one of the it's a track that was I think it was in my on my laptop for 4 years or something, and never did anything with it. A friend wanted a VA track for a VA. I was like, oh, I'll check what I have. I checked that track out. I was like, oh, maybe I'll try one more session and let's see. And I just had that best fucking session, dude. I was like, everything clicked, just the best session. And I remember that session, and it's probably one of the most memorable moments I had on Ableton, and it's just it just I still like the track, which I can't say on 90% of my tracks. That's that doesn't happen a lot of times. For me at least.
I mean, I mean, I mean, I feel it's like this, the same way for most producers, like, because there are some tracks that you can finish like very quickly. And there are even some tracks that you get so much ideas that you have to strip a lot of things out.
100%, yeah, yeah,
But then there are the tracks that you have to force yourself to finish it because like you can't find the right sound that will like fit the
yeah,
story in a way. But that's
yeah,
the same thing for me, man. Like there are, and I feel like the best music I've written is the tunes that I've written the fastest. Like maybe 1 week
I
or
agree.
5 days or even 3 days because that's what the tunes where the ideas are just flowing like very quickly.
Yeah.
I remember like even the remix I did for you for Can It Die. The track was actually going to finish at around like 5 minutes, but then like the idea was really flowing, and I felt like something was missing in the track, like in the end of the track, the last section, and I just kept the track for like a month. I feel a month because the track was already finished, like, and
Mm,
but then like I felt like something was missing, And then I kept the track for like a month. I didn't touch the track, and then I went back again because I remember I was like walking on my way back home, and I was just listening to the track on my headphones. And then I got this idea, this kick and bass idea for the last section, and I kind of like walked a bit faster to go home so that I don't lose that idea in a way. So, and then I just went home straight away, jump into Ableton, and just like it kind of finished in like the next 2 hours or something. So,
That's hilarious,
so yeah,
dude.
it's
That's so
that
funny when
that
that happens.
feeling.
You just,
Yeah, it's very
yeah,
funny, man.
dude,
It's like
yeah. I
it's like
in
so
that
funny.
track, it reminds me what you said before with like trying to when you go out of Ableton, you go out of the box to try and find inspiration for somewhere else. I tend to when I get stuck, I was like, oh, I'll just find some speeches. Like I'll just listen to a nice talk and see if there's like a cool sentence to put like in a drop or something. I have some saved because I don't know, I saw a reel on Instagram or a YouTube thing that I have from like back in the day, and I'll just re-listen to it. And each depending on the concept, it will dictate how I want the atmospheres to be when that speech is happening. And Cannot Die was a completely different track the first session. It was super happy. It was like a super happy track. But super happy. It's still like Tribone, but like
Yeah.
the it was kind of like groovy and like I don't know. And then I just heard that talk by Muji, and I was like, oh, that's so good. Like I thought it wouldn't be nice for a dance floor to hear about death, but like it's you know what I mean. Like I was like, oh, maybe it shouldn't be there. But conceptually, if someone understands the concept, it's like it's a very powerful, and it changed the vibe. Like I changed. I think the bass, if I'm not wrong, the bass line and the mid bass is one of the last thing I've done at that track. Like I had to come back. I was like, something's not working, something's not working, and the actual
Mm.
dugu dugu had to go like an octave lower, basically. And it like the speech is the thing that actually made the track be the track, even though it was a completely different track before that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing like about getting out. And the funny thing with this track too, like I kind of like added a vocal on it. I think I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast and he was talking, I forgot to whom he was talking. I think it was a philosopher. And they were talking about death
Mm.
actually. And I felt like it really resonated with what with the actual vocals of the track. And I kind of like took the track and took the small piece of vocals and put it in the track and just like fitted really well with the vocal that we already had in the track. And it was just,
Yeah.
and I was thinking too, like, is it something good to put like in a track for the dance floor? Like, I actually,
Yeah.
yeah, because like there was this vocal, "What happens when you die," and then I kind of took this vocal and put a delay on "die" and just like die, 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 and I was like, yeah, would that really like work on a dance floor? Like if someone's like tripping or something and he was like die, 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 but that's an actually
Yeah.
good concept though, like because I feel like
It's
everyone
a beautiful
should.
concept if you're in a good headspace.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like it
yeah,
is
yeah,
we're playing with fire when you think of like someone's state and you talk about that and repeat it. But also, man, you can't control it all. And for the musicality, you know, for that piece of music, if that worked, then
yeah,
that was a good thing to do. So, just kidding.
for
Um,
sure.
yeah, please, can you you were saying something?
No, I was just telling you like the concept, and I kind of like played the track like as an opening like maybe 2 or 3 times in my
Mm,
sets, and it just like really works on the dance floor. I don't think there's someone that came to me after the set and told me
right, yeah.
like he bad tripped or something on this.
Yeah, man,
I
because
feel
he
like
was
most
back in
people.
his tent, man, just like hugging his knees in the fetal position, just like, why did he fucking. But yeah,
Play
man,
this
I'm with
shit
you.
like.
Yeah,
But
dude.
like, but bro, like,
Um,
it's
go
actually
for it.
like a very, I feel like it's a very important concept to take into consideration. Because I feel like it plays such a huge role in like our evolution as a spirit on this planet, you know, like
Mm,
because like I mean, if you don't, I feel it's like a very important part because I feel like if there was not death and there was only life, like we wouldn't like appreciate the present moment in a way because like we knew like we
sure.
would just live forever. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a kind of like a very good
Yeah, 100%.
concept to
It is
consider.
definitely the biggest motivator that I can think of. It's a funny thing that bad thing motivates so much compared to like good things that can motivate me. Like I can just appreciate time with my son for the fact that love exists and I have time with my son because I love him. But the fact that love can end, like the fact that that moment can be the last moment,
Yeah.
that is an option, it makes it even stronger. Like no, that I and that's just a crazy. It is a big thing in my head for sure. Hips, man. Like death is like the biggest motivator in my life. It's just funny that it ended up that death is the biggest motivator in life in that way. The fact that finality, you know, I don't know if that's a word, but the fact that things are finite and not infinite. I have a track actually that I'm finishing now with like a, with with vocals about infinite and finite. Also by do you know Rupert Spira? Do you know this guy?
Ripple. No, don't think so. I've listened to.
Dude,
Is it for a
amazing. Talks
Tribone
about
track
like
or Akutra?
non-dual. That's a Tribone track. He also I have like two Akuda tracks with Rupert Spira. Man, I freaking love him, man. He talks about like
Should check
non-dualism a
him
lot,
out.
and
Nice.
yeah, man,
I mean, I
yeah,
feel
it's
that's
just
like
we're
my
probably gonna
favorite
choose the
topic
same
to talk
vocals, man.
about. Yeah, I feel like that's my favorite topic to talk about too, like the duality, because it's just like so paradoxical, and and actually, there's actually a track I started. I don't know if you watched the movie Shutter Island. There's DiCaprio in it. It's a very good movie, actually.
I am not a
But
movie person.
yeah, and like I started the track just after watching the movie, and the movie ends with the phrase, "Would you live as a monster or die as a good man?" And I kind of like took this vocal and put it in the intro of my track that made
Sick.
a full track. But yeah, I'm really into the topic of
Yeah, that's one
dualism.
thing that like when you have a speech, when you have like a good vocal, you have a theme
Yeah,
and you can build around it. That's definitely
yeah,
a hack that I do when I'm stuck. I'm like I need guidance, and if I go with one certain vocal, I have guidance because I know the vibe that this thing will be said to. Which unfortunately the main like the things are always like kind of more dark deep, so it's like dark deep thoughts, and when I'm
mm,
trying to find something fun, like seriously man, I'm like I am on the lookout for like a vocal that's gonna be like about just dance, like just dance, like whatever it is, you know, just get it out of you, like something like this to
yeah.
just like have something else that would give like primal energy out but wouldn't be too fluffy. um yeah, and I can't find I just can't find something like that. So I end up always with talks about death and consciousness and there's only now and stuff like this, you know, which I didn't expect, but also I know why that happens. One second, man.
Yeah, sure, man.
Yeah. So, man, how long have you been making music? When did you start making music?
I started when I was 15. I was into music when I was
Right.
really young. I started playing percussions when I was 8 years old. I used to go. It's my mom actually that made me pick. It was the tabla that I started playing. You know, the two percussions. And
Nice.
yeah, that's where my music journey kind of started. And slowly, I started listening to electronic music. 2008, 2009, it was more like trancey stuff that I was listening
Mm,
to. I was 9 years old or 10 years old at that time. And slowly in high school, I started producing music then at the age of 15. And then it was more minimal stuffs like more minimal techno. And that's where my journey for electronic music started. And
Damn, dude, that's so young. How old are you?
I'm 25 right now.
Oh, okay, cool. Damn, dude.
Yeah, so
We
it
basically
was
started at the
like,
same time, but I was in such a different place in life.
but yeah, I started at 15, and then like I was just like playing around. Like I had no intention to do music with my life, I would say. I mean, I always had that dream, like to just like do music full time as a career.
Mm,
And then like after finishing school, high school, I and then there's the COVID, and then where everyone is in lockdown. So I was just working from jobs to jobs at that time before the lockdown, and I kind of like in the lockdown found the time, I would say, to really sit with myself and like figure out what I want to do in this life.
mm,
And 2019 was actually the first rave I went to. I remember there was Sentient and Spiralife playing in Mauritius in 2019, and that was
yeah,
the
right.
first rave I went to. And yeah, so that's the day where I actually decided to start making psychedelic music. And
Nice.
yeah, so 2019, that's where my journey started for creating psychedelic music. And then 2020, 2021, I was like fully into it. I was just like making music every day for like 3 to 4 hours every day. And yeah, that was like awesome, man, because it was also like this, like 2019, you just finished high school, you went to your first rave, like you're still discovering yourself, and then you start making music, so you discover what you like, what you don't like, and kind of like you're like in this identity building process. And then 2023, I kind of like, I was like, okay, I should release something on Xenon. And it kind of like started with Universal Tribe. Like I released my first EP, Be Observer, in
Mm.
2022, late 2022. And then obviously releasing my first album on Zen in 2023, and then second one 2024. And now I'm like working on my third album, which I'm hesitating on which label this will go to. But yeah, that was the journey so far, man, and it's been like very
What's the
incredible.
options? Were you thinking?
I'm probably thinking iboga
Oh,
or
really?
Xenon itself. Yeah, because I feel like my sound
Nice.
has really evolved from the last album, and there's way less elements. It's more progressive, like more sequential, with more percussive elements, and yeah, it still has this Dragota core essence to it, but I feel like it's become more progressive in a way, and yeah, so that's why
Mm,
I'm hesitating now. I'm like kind of like 1 foot on in Xenon and 1 foot in like Iboga right now, so I have to take the leap, and I
yeah.
don't know where I should take the leap. But yeah, we'll see when the album ends and how it
It's a good place
sounds.
to be, man. Man, I'm excited to hear. That sounds cool. I love it when there's a shift. It's just nice, man. It's just when it doesn't come because you have to, when it just happens to you, and that's what comes out of you, because that's what comes out of you. That's the best,
Yeah,
man. That's so
yeah,
cool. Did you
true.
have like when you were in that dance floor, were you like, did you have like one specific drop that changed everything, or it was like that whole night that was just your mind was blown away and you're like, okay, I have to try to make this type of music now.
Actually, I was listening to more like mainstream psychedelic before I went to this party. And then
Mm,
that was the night I discovered like the Xenon sound, and I was like, "Bro, this is
right.
so cool!" Like there's like all this sound, the storytelling, the kick and bass is different, like everything is different.
Mm,
It's like when you first discover a new style of music, and you're like, your mind is blown up,
yeah, man.
like whoa, like you didn't even imagine there's this kind of music, and it just like opens up a new world for you. And then I slowly digged, and yeah, that was the tipping point for me. Like that's when I decided to even shift Like I was doing minimal techno, and then I started producing like minimal techno, but more like in the Xenon-esque realm, I would say. But yeah, that was definitely
Mm,
the tipping point for me to start doing psychedelic music because that music at that time resonated a lot with me, and it kind of like that party kind of like changed me in a way too, I would say. Uh,
sure.
f- but yeah, and I was like, nah, I have to make this music because I was so mind blown, and I kind of like found myself in that music too, and in that party, and uh, and yeah, that was the tipping point, I would say.
That's huge, dude. That's so awesome. What's the vision for the project now? Do you have a job that's not music? Do you do music full
Uh,
time? Is the dream to do music full time
last
or not really?
Like right now, I'm trying to do music full time. Uh, Last year I had a job and I kind of quit it because I was just not, that was just not fitting for me. But right now I'm trying to
Mm,
do music full time. I'm teaching. I offer some one-on-one workshops. I have some students right now, and I'm trying to set up a Patreon right now, but I'm finding myself more drawn to teaching rather than starting Patreon. And I've kind
mm.
of at the same time started hosting events here in Mauritius, and
Oh,
just to kind
nice.
of like yeah, to kind of like because I wanted to bring like the musical identity in the scene here in a way, and not just the music, like the perception, the way, because like I feel like throwing a party too, like the intention behind it has a huge impact on people,
Mm.
and it's kind of like bringing my identity in parties too in a way. So yeah, I'm kind of like hosting events too, and yeah, it's I wouldn't say I'm like it's like very comfortable for me right now, but because I'm kind of like still having to manage my income in a way. But yeah, I'm saying like I'm getting there. I'm getting there slowly,
Huge,
and
man. That's
yeah,
epic.
yeah, like I'm trying to do my best to like go fully into this.
Nice, man. Do you have some goals that are like, do you wanna, I don't know. I assume that playing Boom or something, one of those
Ah, bro, that
one
would
of
be
those
awesome. Like
things.
that's definitely like that. Yeah, I feel like when I'll be releasing this album, I'm hoping to tour next year. I'm planning
Mm,
to release it in October this year. I don't know really if
epic.
I'll be able to finish it this October though. I'll try to. I'll try to. But then like yeah,
Yeah,
my goal is to like tour and like of course like playing Boom or Zora, that would be like epic. That would be like very epic. And of course like Australia
that's
too
so cool,
has a
man.
lot of amazing festivals, man.
Yeah,
And
you were here
dragon
for a while, weren't
cleaning.
you?
Yeah, I was here last year for 4 months, but it was like winter time. Like I don't know why I came to Australia in winter time, but it was cool though. Like
Yeah.
I connected to a lot of people. I played at three parties, and yeah, it was awesome. It was
How was
awesome. Like I
it?
went to a lot of parties. I went to a lot of parties too. I was mainly in
Nice.
Melbourne. I wanted to come to
Cool.
Byron, but there wasn't much happening in May and June there. So I kind of
Mm,
like stayed in Melbourne. And yeah, but I'm hoping to come back very soon, maybe next year, hopefully next year in September, October. That will be epic.
nice. Nice. In your when your fourth album drops. Yeah. Nice,
I
man.
feel like after the third album, I'll just like take a little pause and just like tour, and then like maybe the fourth album will be coming after. I don't know. Like we'll see
Yeah.
how it goes.
Do you do What's your thoughts about like singles and EPs and stuff? Do you just have conceptual albums because you believe in the like is that the way you think is best your art is best presented, or is it like a business model thought? Like why do you do albums and not singles, or do you do singles?
Uh, I just I haven't really released singles. I've just released a couple of tracks on compilations, and I
Mm-hmm.
only did one EP. But I felt like it just happened to happen this way. Like I was just like trying to. I feel like albums is very good for like a big plot of storytelling. Like each track's
Sure.
telling is part of like a bigger story, and that was like
Yeah.
my perception of it, like so far. But I don't think like maybe if I'm releasing an maybe I'll be releasing an album in two parts, maybe like an EP part one
Mm.
and the second EP part two. But I don't. It's just like I don't feel like releasing like EPs. Maybe after. I don't know if it will change. But for now, like I'm only thinking about releasing albums because that's just the way I kind of craft my story into the music. And just
Right.
like the story kind of like feels like it should be an album instead of an EP or a single. But yeah, it kind of like feels this way for me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it works, I think especially when you're, I mean, especially if you're already making a living out of music, like you've found a nice little balance, that's a very good place for you to just, you know that something's working. So to not change, the changing, the navigating the business to see what works and what doesn't work should come like slowly, slowly and by small bits. But if something
Yeah.
works and like you are in a place, you're in a place where you can put artistry up there. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't have to think like, oh, how am I getting this? How am I getting that? It's working. Like there's something that works. It's that's awesome, man. I mean, for the majority of us, albums is where it's at for consuming music. I like album more than I like sets for the majority of my life. I just started listening to sets a bit more like lately. Also, not really, but like I just listened to a Captain Hook set from a few booms ago, just cause I think he uploaded like a video of him like mixing four decks or something.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
even know.
yeah.
I didn't
Watch
even know
this
I
one. Yeah.
follow him. And you watch this one? I didn't even know I followed him. I don't know why the Instagram, like, or Facebook or whatever it was, offered it to me. But I was like, oh, that's cool. And I pressed on it, and it was such a sick drop. Like it was like dark, which I didn't know that he makes. I mean, I was in his set, so I knew that his music kind of changed from a decade ago, and I listened to him back then. But it was just so good. And I went and listened to that whole set, and the whole set is just amazing. And I don't really listen to Saturns anymore. But yeah, anyway, it got me hooked on sets now. I just put sets every once in a while. Like I don't really do that. I used to only listen to albums, or not only, but like more listen to albums than listen to sets. I don't know why. For some reason, that's a thing that happened to me. Only when I walked out, when I needed like to walk out, I didn't need it to be like a to stop. I needed the music to continue. I
Yeah,
I
it
would put a
comes.
set on.
But that's the same thing for me, man. When I'm at home, I'm only listening to albums. Maybe on a Saturday when I'm at home, maybe I'll put on a set. But that's the same thing if I'm going out, like if I have to take the bus or the metro or something, then I'll be like, okay, let's just put a set and like and just listen
Right.
to the whole thing without anything stopping.
It's
But
funny,
yeah, I
huh? It's
feel
because you're
like
still crafting a
yeah.
story. Because like having a good set is still crafting a story that is just yeah. I never really thought about it like that. How like it's you consume the same things, but the structure changes the meaning of them a bit because like the narrative that someone builds within a set rather than the narrative that he built in an album. And I have it with a bunch of my EPs, and an EP can go like I don't know if it'll be like a BPM thing or like energy wise, it's gonna go from quiet to the peak or like quiet, peak, quiet or whatever the EP, the thing's doing in the journey. And because it's different BPMs with Tribone, it's always my EPs are mishmashed along my sets. So like it's not always different because I don't have a lot of music, but like that's it will always be a different story to the original way I was thinking about it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean like it's yeah, but that's the thing though. Like it's just about like sometimes like yeah, if a track needs to be a single, you'll know like it needs to be a single because like it's just about trusting your feelings sometimes. And I've learned that a
Mm.
lot with music production, trusting where the story wants to go. And if because sometimes even like you want to put like another track on the album, but then you're like, ah no, I don't think that will. I think the album is enough right now. Like I've always tried to write 8 tracks album, but the two album ended up being 7 tracks, and and like I hopefully think that the third one will have 8 tracks. Because I've always wanted to do 8 tracks and it always ended up being 7. But I'm positive about the third one. It will be 8 tracks.
And you wanted to be done in a month, basically. So good luck with that.
I mean, like I already have. I think like there's like 5 tracks that's already completed. But like, of
Nice,
course,
man.
then the mixing will be taking a lot of time and just testing it on at parties and seeing how people react to it. And
True. Yeah, you have a long journey ahead of you.
but I don't think like. Nah, I don't think October will do it. Like to be honest, like that will take like much more time. Like, but I hopefully feel like I will finish the full 8 tracks with maybe not with a good mixing like around October, and then I can like just like
But
readjust until like I finally get the sweet spot. I would say.
do you make music every day?
Recently no. Uh, but I'm trying to keep at least like 3 days or 4 days a week to make music. But as I told you, like the last 2 months, I've haven't like I was just like mostly like reading books and just like going out because I feel like sometimes like that's what's going to make the music, like because if you just like do music, at some point you'll be I feel like you'll have no inspiration and then you'll have to like go
Mm,
out and just like do different stuffs and like come back again with like fresh inspiration
fully.
and kind of like let it flow again. But right now I'm making music every day. I'm keeping like 3 hours like every day in the morning to make it so that I can have a good day and not feel shitty around like at noon and so yeah, like music is my therapist again right now. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's 3 hours a day, and you keep it in 3 hours a day. I feel like whenever I have a good session, it's like it's up to like how much my back hurts. It's not about like how much like if like if the session's good, like I'm not going out, man. I am yeah. I remember in like the good old days when I was really like fully focused, or at least when I started, man. Like I was waking up at like my I lived with my mom, and she would go to work at like 7 a.m. or something. So I would wake up at 6:30. So by the time she's away, I can start banging. And if I start at 7, by 12, between 12 to 2, 1 or like 1 to 2 or 12 to 1 or something like this, I would have a nap. And the nap I would do with like Mr. Bill tutorials or something like this, and wake up to have another session until she's coming back from work. So like I'll have a nap just to like restart my ears, and I was just dude, I was like all the time on Ableton. Like I did not leave Ableton. I was so obsessed, like an absolute addict. And like and it was like the output was insane for that time. Like I made so many things. I've learned so much shit. And yeah, now it's like with being a dad, I have like an hour at the end of the night, maybe, you know. So I'm just go, 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 go. Whatever I have, and it's like you can get like something solid. I mean, obviously after doing it for a decade, you'd hope so, but like I can have something solid after 2 hours or something like this. And yeah, I don't need a lot of time to create a track necessarily. But I would love a lot of time. Like I would love more than 3 hours, I guess, for making
But
for
that's
making
true though.
tunes.
Like before I used to think like you need like a lot of time a day to make music. But if you just
Mm,
like even 1 hour a day, man, like if you keep 1 hour a day, like in it you can finish a track like in a week, man. Like for in like 6 hours or 7 hours.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
you
you
reckon
do
you
it
finish a track in 6 hours?
like maybe it's like a short track, not a long one. But I feel like
Right.
maybe a prog track would take like I don't know, like maybe I'm not including the mixing. I'm just including like the content.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe 12 hours.
Yeah, sometimes it can all go in one session, and sometimes, I mean, like the one I said before, that was it was I had like 1 or 2 sessions on a track 4 years ago, and then after 4 years, I had like 2 sessions, and it was amazing. So it took me 4 years, but it also took like
Yeah,
6 sessions. You know what I mean? I'm doing a
yeah,
thing now where I'm like producing in public. I don't know if you saw, but like I'm making like a Duga Duga track, and I'm putting it on my YouTube. So I'm recording the whole thing. So I will actually know by hours, you know what I mean? Like how long it took me. Because like almost every session is like an hour. The next session, the episode 3 is like 2 hours. And and not an hour, but like a good chunk of those 2 hours were mistakes. Were like, oh, I think I'm gonna go there. I was like, no, I shouldn't have gone there. And I go back and I try something else, and then I try another thing and I go back and and there's you don't you never know how many of those you're gonna do. Sometimes you just keep taking the correct turns, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna take a right here, and this is what the lead's gonna do. And you know
yeah. But that's the
and yeah,
thing
with this
too, man.
track,
Like,
that's like, go for
yeah,
it.
go on, go on. No, I was just telling you, like
Oh,
that's the
sorry.
thing, like with
You
like with like music right now. Like you just and the thing is, you have so much plugins right now on Ableton, so you can always just like change things. And sometimes like I don't even make. Sometimes I don't even make music. I'm just into Ableton, and just like having fun, like with no
yeah,
intention of finishing something. It's just like playing around, like just like you left a kid on a playground or something, and he's just like running
yeah,
everywhere,
man.
just like with no intention, just like having fun. And, and yeah, and
That used
that's
to be
makes
my
sense
my
why,
night
yeah,
sessions. I would try to be productive in the day and creative in the night. That was like my thing. My thing for almost a day, like the whole time, was mainly that. Like first I'm productive, and I'm getting more and more and more done, and then I'm creative in the night, and I'm just pushing buttons, twisting knobs, see what's gonna come. Just resampling
yeah,
for hours,
yeah.
just to make sure I'm not gonna miss one whoop that accidentally would be that good.
I
But
mean, that's how
yeah,
you
man,
get like these incredible sounds too, man. Like because if you're intentional with like everything, I feel like that's the comfort zone. And then when you start playing around and like doing like whatever you want to do, sometimes I'm like putting like 10 distortions on the sound and like just like uh, putting
just to make
LFOs
sure.
and yeah, just just randomizing everything. And that's why you get like you would never get a kind of sound like this if you're just being intentional with everything. I mean, it
Fully.
has its place, of course. Like, if you want to design a specific lead, of course, you'd had to be intentional with the amount of filtering, the amount of distortion, the amount of like FM you're putting on a sound. But like, if you just want to create like these outworldly sound, if I would, I'd say that put it like this, like, or just like put like getting out of your comfort zone and like creating something that you wouldn't even imagine creating, and that's where like
Yeah,
the experimental part comes, and you're just like you and that's just the state of play. You're just like playing and just like
fully.
messing around with like the sounds. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that state of play. I think like the one of my, I would say, top 3 tips that when I work with younger producers, I say is like randomize everything. Like just go without a grid, without the LFO is not on rate, like it's always on hertz. So
Yeah.
oscillations are like everything's on random. Just random everything and see what's gonna come. And then when you try and put it within the grid, that's where you get that wonky grooves that you wouldn't necessarily would have thought of before. And even if you would have thought of it, by the time you could produce that sound, you would probably cut your creativity in the middle of a session. I'm all about randomizing, man. It's definitely, I mean, it's my only way of producing. Like I randomize heaps of sounds and then I try to make them fit within a beat, basically. But yeah, except the intentional parts like the kick, snare, bass, leads and stuff like this, which also can come. Like if there's a really cool sound that came out of a randomized session, and it just have so much character that you can just repeat it every on the one with the reverb or with the delay every 32 bars. Like that's a hook that catches me. Like for me as a the way I like music, that's totally a thing that I do. In this track I think I've done. Oh, it's not randomized. I guess I made that, but anyway, for me that totally passes as a hook, at least.
Yeah, I mean they even have a name for it now. They call it like generative music. And yeah, it's just
Yeah,
like creating like I mean I do have separate sound design sessions when I don't always make music, I was telling you. So I do have like these separate sound design sessions where I'm just like creating like presets for like Diva or like Serum and just like creating
sick.
those racks with like delays and like randomizers and like percussive elements. And then like when I'm making music, I just like use these racks. Oh yeah, that's one thing I forgot to mention. When I'm fixing at a blank screen, it's just like I'm loading like these racks that I created in the sound design sessions. And if I get
Nice.
like when I play the racks and I just like find like these cool sounds that I can start with, that will make the click for me. And sometimes like you don't even I don't even need to start a track with like a kick and bass or a melody or a chord. It's just like if I find like a cool sequence with the randomization that I did on the racks, I can just start the track with a sequence and just like slowly from that sequence build like a whole track. And now there's like a lot of plugins now. There's like XLN Live, a plugin called Live, and then it's just like you load like a lot of random percussion, and then there's this AI algorithm in it that just like generates like random grooves for you, so you can just like from
Oh yeah, I
nothing
see it.
just create like a sick groove. And then the thing
Nice.
I use it for is just like loading a lot of follies and just like doors closing and like just me hitting on a table or just like crushing a leaf and just like putting everything in it and chopping it and doing like this crazy like organic chunky like sequences which is like very
Right.
unique and just like processing it. And I mean like yeah, like with the plugins that we have nowadays, like it's impossible to run out of ideas, I would say, because like
Yeah.
you can get like even for the Max for Lives plugins, like you can do like so much, man. And
Yeah.
you can do
It's pretty
so much that
crazy.
you don't finish the track, then you just like keep playing and you don't just like
Get
finish the
sucked
track.
in. Yeah. I think with the amount of
Yeah.
possibilities that's going on with sound design right now, it's one of the only ways of making it is to actually do a sound design separately to your session. I remember it being like a question, how do you do it? What is, do you do it within the session? Do you do it like separate sessions? But like with the amount of possibilities and how if you want to stay focused, it's almost like you have to put the sound design in a different session. Like it's you will lose the plot at some point because you're just gonna get stuck into. It's like the social media algorithm. If it keeps knowing you better and better, all these randomizing plugins. Dude, I have to go, but that
Yeah.
was awesome
That was a good
to.
talk, man. That was a good session.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, and let's just continue talking. But yeah,
Yeah.
epic man. I'm excited to hear the music, and yeah, thank you for hopping on with me, man.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, man, and
Um,
thanks for the invite.
s-
So